Hey everyone, this is Sparda 3G here, not bringing you the podcast, but bringing you the extras. Now, with the extras, we're only going to talk about one topic, and we're just going to dive into it very in depth. And pretty much, the first episode is the Naruto Gaiden, the 7 Hokage, and the Scarlet Spring. And, this won't be the last, of course, because there will be more to come in due time. So let's kick this off with the mind review on this chapter 1 of Naruto Gaiden. And, I recently just found out in midnight, I was about to sleep because I have work. And then I decided to, kill a little bit more time. Then I finally got some sleep, woke up early, and then here we are. We got this Naruto Gaiden early release. I was supposed to read One Piece first, but I guess I decided to read this right away because the spoilers impression coming from the midnight is rather staggering, and it's interesting, but not in a good way. It's more of a what's going on. This is like something that you might want to say, did I really read this manga for this? I know the story is complete per se, but the way how this is gonna go with this whole storyline is rather, I don't know. I can't call it dumb. I mean, okay, for the lack of a better word, it's not well thought out, I guess, because this one seems rather forced. And going with chapter 1, after reading the chapter 1, it's weird because it start off, not so bad. It actually start off like something could be a little bit interesting, something that's not too predictable from the prediction we have from the chapter 700. But instead, it really is going to dive in this whole father issue. But we're going with Uchiha Sarada, and after reading the entire chapter, I gotta say this chapter was pretty average, if not kind of just really weak chapter. It's a really weak chapter that doesn't really get me wondering for the next upcoming chapters, and it's kind of predictable for what's going to be to come at the very end of this Gaiden, if not the end of the movie. I do believe this Gaiden is going to cover the Sasuke, this whole dilemma thing with the father issues, and I guess perhaps the mother issue as well. And it seems like the movie will finally focus on Boruto, which begs the question, is this the same thing as Naruto the main series, where you get focus on the Sasuke, but then you finally get focus on Naruto and the movies, even though in the last Naruto the movie, you have Naruto and Hinata is mainly more for Hinata, while Naruto does the okay, let me propose and be the guy for her. That's about it. So I don't know if he knows if he's really doing this way, because this whole main character priority from Kishimoto is really questionable. Because it seems like the secondary main character is the real protagonist, while the protagonist is just either main character, if not a side character, or just a one trick pony, one note character that just does this usual thing. So this chapter didn't really help much, and it just feels disappointing to see that there's no other thoughtful process or thoughtful storyline to come up with for this Gaiden, where you only have, I believe they said it's going to be only 10 chapters. So these 10 chapters is supposed to build up for your movie, to make the movie, something that you should care about, because nobody really knows about Boruto. You get some of that in here, and honestly, it's really disappointing as well, because it really does seem like he's Naruto 2.0. Sarada, the funny thing about her character could have been a very interesting one. I do mean that if maybe the story was never a part 3, as people like to say it, or a sequel, spin-off, whatever. Maybe it would have been better if this is like the very beginning of the story, as in brand new story, new IP, new franchise, whatever. It could have been interesting with her. But the fact that she's coming from this story, this Naruto series, you can't really do much with her, because as the sword, like, again, they already did enough. The whole universe is already taken down. It's already established and everything is already completed. You even got the gods involved, so there's no real purpose to continue this storyline, this universe, in fact. So it's a real shame to see Sparda to go down to this direction that they're taking in this Gaiden, and it's really gonna be very weak, because this is it's just only aiming for the soap opera direction, and it's just really unnecessary. But again, if the story from Naruto itself has already been done to death. Like, everything is already taken care of. You got everything done. There's no villain per se. So what's there to do next? So instead, they're just gonna focus on this whole is she my real mother or not? And really, that's just I don't know. It's just not so not so satisfying. And I don't know. Again, I'm only reading this one chapter, and I'm gonna let this whole pile up, and then I'll get my my full review on the entire Gaiden. But right now, this only telling me that it's just not gonna be that worth it. And even if for a fan who wants to see what's up with these guys, it just doesn't seem that satisfying. And it just seems a bit random, if you ask me. It would have been better if it just deal with the issue with with Sasuke by himself. But now we're gonna get this whole, I don't know, Jerry Springer Mori stuff with Karen, and there's another thing about that. It's just a huge shame to have Karen being used like this, rather than it could have been done with something with the Uzumaki heritage. The whole thing that we have back in the last series with the 663. They had a good potential to showcase a lot of things, but instead Kishimoto failed to deliver that. But, let's get to the review, and let me just give you my thoughts slowly. So, basically, the beginning, we have a color pages, and, pretty much these guys are graduating. Boruto, Sparda, Chocho, you name it. So, they're all graduating, and pretty much you get the idea. This Gaiden thing is the prequel to the movie, and I don't know if Boruto is going to be involved in this Gaiden at all. But if he isn't, then that means you just have to deal with Sparda finding the real mother or something like that. And then you just get the whole Boruto in the movie, which is kind of, again, it's really mind-boggling to even think this way. So now we have the whole, you get to see the entire Konoha in that time zone. So we get reintroduced with these kids, Shikudai, Inoji, and Chocho. And pretty much they're getting ready to graduate, and yeah, pretty much their life is starting up already. So, again, the whole movie is the one that's really going to start off this whole Chunin exam. So I guess it's everyone's best guess that the movie is, in fact, going to be in the Chunin exam. I don't even know we're going to have a villain in that movie. I think the moral message is just try to have Boruto understand his dad. Now, this whole thing seems like there's more focus on Sparda right now. I do believe maybe in the end, the movie is gonna have more focus on Boruto and Sasuke, while this one's gonna be Sparda, I guess, seeking answer. I don't know if Boruto will get involved. It's most likely he will get involved, but it just seems weird to do this kind of introduction because if we're gonna focus only on Sparda, then that means it's like another misconception of her being the main character, the protagonist, and Boruto being a sideline, just doing his usual cliche shonen main character hero. I mean, back then, in Naruto, you used to have Naruto being the main character, and then all of a sudden he started to shift away because he got too godly and pretty much done with his character, even though there could have been more to be desired. But, it's all about Uchihas these days. So I guess this is the same case with Sparda. And we have her thinking about, like, what is this ninja? What is going to be mean? It's like, again, Sasuke. The thing about this series is that Sparda, or even Boruto, it really doesn't show you who's their mother. As in, like, you will never guess you will never guess until they go to that person to say, hey, mom. Because the character design really doesn't show that well. that Boruto, when you read this chapter, it just seems like another Naruto, like in a lot of ways. He even said like, "Oh, you're like the same thing as your dad back then." He even has Kagebushi no Jutsu or Shadow Clone in English, and it just doesn't seem any creativity in there. Maybe in the movie we would have him do some remix because he's gonna be trained under Sasuke, but it's just not gonna be so it's gonna be too little too late. And then the movie, I understand this whole thing is a spinoff, I understand this thing is not supposed to last this long, but it just, I don't know, it feels unnecessary. It just ended at chapter 700. It would have been okay. I mean, the ending's still bad, but I'm talking about like it would have been okay, as in like keep your momentum safe, keep your status safe in some way. Doing this, it just doesn't seem like it's really unnecessary. I know it's a Gaiden, I know it's a cash grab, but all of this is just really not needed. And even though they might do well in the sales, I don't know, but it just the quality wise, it's just not so good. But I don't want to drift away because we haven't finished the chapter itself. So again, we pretty much get to the more insight of this Konoha, the next gen Konoha. You have Chocho and Sparda talking to each other, talking about like this whole ninja thing and the training, and then Sarda's like pretty much telling her that you have one problem, and it's the fact that you can get time with your dad. So pretty much again, chapter 700, it really gave everybody idea that she has a daddy issue. And the funny thing is, a lot of people would have thought that Sasuke does come back and more often, like keep coming back and forth. But in this chapter, it officially confirmed that Sasuke has not come back ever since she was a baby. So this only actually give more the anti people a way to make fun of this whole relationship, to say, this whole Sasuke and Sakura is just a hit it and quit it. But let's not get to that deep. My point is, it's officially confirmed that Sasuke does not come back, and pretty much Sarada has to suffer not being with her dad. So that's just the story. It was pretty predictable right there. Nothing wrong with that. It's just the way how it's presented is really underwhelming and just not so well satisfied. So basically, we have Choji, make a cameo appearance, and Chocho, I guess she could analyze. She's just like, oh great, got the lightly salted one. So you have those, and then you see Naruto and Boruto. I guess they're playing with each other, training each other. I don't really know. And basically again, Boruto has the same thing as Naruto. It's really like a 2.0. Man, I was hoping for a good remix. I'm hoping for something like a different from the Naruto. Now it's just, it only gives you the idea, and Boruto is there for nostalgic's sake. Like, he's like a walking fan service of, okay, he's gonna do this tuning exam. This is the good old days. Okay, he doesn't know how to do a good training. He's gonna train with Sasuke. It's like a good old days, just not with Jiraiya. It's with Sasuke, imitating Piccolo and Gohan, something like that. Nothing feels original with this whole thing. And I'm not even talking about the fact that it's like, okay, he's doing a lot of shonen character stuff. I'm talking about the fact that he's doing a lot of things that's within the same series, what has done already. Basically with Naruto, everything that Boruto did is doing what Naruto is going through. Everything what Boruto is going to do is what Naruto already did. So this is pretty much what's the case, and that's pretty disappointing, to be honest with you, because it could have been a nice, could have been a little bit refreshing for once to see a remix with a Hyuga and Naruto. Granted, he doesn't have the Byakuga eyes. And supposedly you need the Byakuga eyes in order to do all the techniques like Kaiten or anything else. But still, it could have been done more differently, and it could have something unique aspect to it. But instead, it only tells you it doesn't really matter who's the mother, because both of those characters don't really get anything from their mother. They just get them mostly, if not all, from their father, and that includes Sarada. With the glasses, on the other hand, is an exception, but we're gonna get to that soon. So pretty much, again, we started seeing a lot of other characters. We see Sai, Inoji, doing their things because the whole graduation is next week. And yeah, pretty much that's the case. And then Boruto was hiding from Naruto, and Sparda did a favor by pointing Naruto to the wrong direction. And then you have Shikamaru and Shikadai looking at them, and then again more demonstration to the character, more cameos, I guess you could say. You see the shadow binding again, and yeah, basically again more emphasis on the whole. Everybody got their dads, and Sarada don't have a dad. Again, completely dismissed the mother, but who cares? That's what Naruto is pretty much saying in this series. This series is really telling me, who cares about the mother? I understand it's a story force per se, but you could have at least done like, okay, you have the mother and the father. I only have the mother, I don't have the father. That kind of imagery. But instead, it's always going to be like, well, the father's always with the mother. The father's always with the child. So, what the hell? It feels forced. That's the thing. It's so forced. And, this chapter has a lot of force. This chapter has a lot of force materials, and and it might be a lot more in the upcoming one. But this one has a lot of force moments, and the main one is going to be the picture one. But anyway, the point is that Sarada is feeling a little upset that she doesn't have a father. Her father never shows up, and he left ever since she was a baby. So I guess that's the whole main story that's going to be with this Gaiden, I think, unless it's going to be something different. But it could be possible that this story could be a lot of introduction to these kids, and then the movie is going to solve all of them, as we're supposed to care that much. This one doesn't really do all that much to give me anything to care about these characters, because it's so typical, and the fact they're still using the old character, mainly Team Taka with Karen, man, doing this whole process, it just seems just goofy and kind of dumb, because it's the whole who's the mother situation, especially when when fans already theorized about this whole glasses coming from Karen, looking like Karen. Now they're doing this storyline as if to say Kishi took a break in order to find more theories from the fans and then start making a storyline out of them. This is the case. That's what it feels like, and it's really stupid, because I don't even care about anything with the Gaiden. I only said, there's a Gaiden, and I don't know what to expect from the story. Instead, it feels like, I guess because people are so loud on Karen being the mother, we should make that in the storyline. This is, I don't know. This is just bad, and it just reeks on creativity, and it's laughable, because we got this whole storyline that it really came from the fans, and it just made it seem like, well, this is the best he could think of. He can't think anything else more than that. So this is where it gets really strange and really forced and kind of sad. Well, actually, it is pretty sad, especially coming from the characters that we all know and grown. We have, Sakura. She's doing her cleaning thing again, not showing off anything she could do, anything she has been doing, or anything that she accomplished. Basically, being a housewife. I know a lot of people doesn't like that. I do too, and because this is the whole ninja thing, this whole dream thing that started off in chapter 4 or 5. I think it's 4. Yeah, it's mainly 4. But this whole thing just seems like, well, you're out of here, get out of here, be a housewife, stay in there. I have no problem with housewife. It's just that this is a series that has dreams and goals in life, and it's not like goals in life like, I'll go to college, I finished college, I got a degree, and I did everything, now I tend to get married. Instead, in here, it's like, well, I want to get married, I got nothing else to do. So that's what Sakura is. So basically, Sakura's questioning, hey, did Dad have glasses? And this is so sad to have her saying, I don't think it did. I guess. What? I mean, look, I know. I'm not going to go parent war, because I don't really give a crap about those. But I know that Sakura doesn't really know much of a Sasuke. And the fact that Kishimoto is really establishing this in this storyline, no less, it pretty much gives you the idea he done this. He made this pairing happen in order to create the Gaiden, in order to create the movie, maybe. He done this just to do this storyline that's so unnecessary and that could have been avoided if you just ended with chapter 700 with either no pairing, same pairing but in a different different status, like Sasuke actually being home, or just, I don't know, in a different pairing. But I don't care if she's with Naruto or Rock Lee. Just don't do this storyline. It's so this is, and it's more laughable with her actually saying, I guess. It's like, really? You should know. You're the one that married the guy, unless you're like hit it and quit it, which seems to be the case in this storyline. Unless you want to do it, you know, of course it's going to be something like, oh, okay, she's always the mother, big whoop. It's always like that. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the ending. And if it is not the ending, then color me shocked, but it's so stupid to do this way. But again, you know, we have her say, like, I guess. We guess what? What do you mean, guess? Know it. So anyway, pretty much, Sparda didn't like the answer that Sakura gave it to her, because, you know, the fact that it's being more questionable, like, what's the situation, what's the status, because she's the mother, and she's supposed to know about the dad, but yet she doesn't know about the dad. And, you know, it seems like she's not even the wife. And then she got mad. Sakura got mad. She punched the ground. Sparda proceeds to cry. Well, you know, and, you know, basically she was sorry about this. And maybe maybe once he comes back, they will be mutual again. So he'd be alright and stuff like that. They would be, you know, I guess, I don't know. I guess they have their issues. I have no idea. Couldn't care less, to be honest, because it just happened so quickly, and it kind of happened in a really goofy manner with the whole, you're not the wife, you're not his wife, you're not my mother, stuff like that. And then apparently the house gets destroyed, so oops on her part, and then she faded, because, you know, that's the house right there. And I don't know, I don't recall this storyline, but there was like, they were saying that she fainted quite often. I don't remember seeing that moment every time. I remember chapter 4 or 5, she fainted because Sasuke looked like he got killed in the most horrible manner. But fainted? I don't know. Like, is that a running joke or something? Because that seems kind of rude to say it that way. But then again, this is a forced storyline that we're dealing with. And this is among with them. This is pretty forced to say, oh, she faded so much time. So, you know, give it a time to wake up. Pretty much saying, okay, give it a time. She'll wake up at chapter 10, okay? That's pretty much what it's telling us. Basically, she's out of the storyline. All she could do is wait, because that's what she is. She's the king. She's the queen of waiting game. So this is the case for this whole Gaiden. And now, you know, Sakura apparently fainted so many times that she has to be handled with care again. And then this is where this is so much force, and it feels so laughable done. I thought finding Orochimaru's secret scroll was so forced, so random, or Madara finding Obito's body, or Obito because he wasn't dead, or finding Obito in a rubble and he happened to be right next to the secret base was forced. This one, it comes down like, really, I don't even understand what's the point of this. This is where Sparda, you know, he was seeking the place, and then find the picture of Sasuke with Sakura, basically the family picture. But then it cracked, and then when Sparda was about to remove the picture, she realized Sakura and her picture were fake. Well, okay, not fake. I'm sorry. Were a picture of their own. In other words, they're separated. The Sasuke image is actually a different picture. It's a background picture. So in other words, there's like 3 pictures within one picture frame. So Sparda was like wondering, what's this? So then when she removed it, what we dealing with now is having Sasuke And next to that other person is a girl in glasses. And pretty much is Karen. So, why this picture happened to be inside this picture frame with Sakura and Sarada as a young girl? Why is it even there? Is it really that necessary? Is it has to be this? It has to be done this way? Is this really? Is this really how the story's gonna start? Just because of the picture and stuff like that, right through from that frame, and to make it. And again, the more plot excuse is that Sakura, she fainted apparently because she faints every time now. She fainted and I don't know what's the next direction, and I really don't care because this doesn't give me that much of a build up that to establish the care factor for these characters. But I don't know if she's gonna go to Sakura first, but if she doesn't, then this is all more forced to this whole entire story, mainly making Sarada probably seek answers, going after Karen or something like that. Probably Boruto will join in just to make Boruto remind us that he's the protagonist's son, let alone the protagonist of this series, this Gaiden, this Boruto spinoff. So, yeah, we're getting it. If she goes like that route, if she goes straight to that, it's so forced to have Sakura to faint it and apparently become a character that faints so often, like she's Chi-Chi or somebody else. I mean, Chi-Chi makes sense. She keeps fainting when people are dying. That's something bad. But now Sakura fainted for pretty much anything. I mean, okay, the lone part, I understand the joke of it, but I feel like fainting for a long period of time just seems so forced, and that's what's going to happen, and that's the case. And I don't know. Again, I don't know if Sarada is going to go to find that girl in glasses, or she's going to her mother and ask for these questions. I'm hoping for the latter, because if it goes to the first one, it's so forced. If it goes for the latter, at least it will have some sense. But again, it's extremely goofy to even carry that picture of Sasuke, let alone the fact that Sasuke don't even smile in that picture. But I just don't get it. I really don't get this whole story. Like, look, I understand Kishimoto gave up on Sakura. I understand Sakura is a hateable character for a lot of people for whatever reason. I still have to find the reason. I mean, I don't hate her, but I can see why people could hate her. But again, it just seems like there's a lot of mixed reasons why people should hate her or stuff like that. Now let's get to the point that, okay, you can hate you want. It's all you. That's good for you. I still don't hate her, but my God, her character is so demeaning at this point. Again, a picture that's not even, you don't even bother to rip that picture of the other picture. Like, okay, I'm going to rip Sugesu and Karen, something with a kunai, knife, something. I don't know, anything. Instead, it's just, again, it's the most forceful story. So, okay, listen. I'm not going to read the another chapter. If you continue to read for yourself, be my guest. It's free. It's not that, it's not such a pure train wreck. I mean, it could get there. I don't know with this kind of storyline. But, I'm not going to read until this finished, because obviously you need to read this in order to care about the movie, which that's why it's even happening in the first place. If there was no movie, this thing would just come out as just an extra piece. I understand. This whole thing is an extra piece. It's not too much of a harm. It just, it's just a bit embarrassing at this point. Actually, it is embarrassing. It's embarrassing at this point. I know it doesn't change everything. I know it doesn't change the overall story from the last series, the whole Naruto series. And I know it's not really like a damaging, huge damage thing to people who wants to read more Naruto, I guess. But it just seems, and I know it's only for extras, only for the hardcore Naruto fan base, whatever. But even if it's like that's the case, stand alone, targeted for the fans, it just seems very underwhelming. And I really didn't enjoy this much of Okay, not as I hope, but it's more like I wish I could enjoy this. I wish I could like this. Instead, was very average. It's subpar, and again, it's laughable to do these kind of forceful tools of the storyline with the whole not knowing your dad wear glasses. The mother's Sakura is fainted, so she can't get any more answer from her, and she probably wake up due to plot, aka chapter 10 ending. Finding out the father was with a girl with glasses, because apparently nobody had the time to take out that picture from that original picture snapshot. I don't even know where he got that. I don't even know where the picture got it from. Ooh, where she got that picture? I didn't even got a picture like that. I can understand the just a family photo, like Team 7, marriage, wedding, whatever. I can understand those. But what about this picture? Who had the time to do this? And why even keep it? Would the Sasuke say, here, keep this? And I bet we're going to get explanation, which is going to be so too little too late. And it's going to be rather random. I just know they're going to do that. But at this point, it seems so forced, so mind-boggling. It's just, I don't know. It's a real weak excuse to have all this storyline being processed. And of course, we have Sasuke showing up at the very end going, huh? So that's it. Bottom line, this is just a spin-off. This is just an extra. So it won't really you shouldn't even bother if you don't like Naruto, or if you're decent with Naruto, you're okay with Naruto. If you're a hardcore fan, I guess it won't. It's not harmful, but it's just not needed. And it's granted, it is the extra, but it's just I prefer to end it completely, because it just doesn't seem like it's any creativity for these characters. These new generation is stuck with the old generation rather than using the old generation to make them into the new generation. Like, something that's not really like an issue. Like, I'm going to meet that person from the old generation, stuff like that. More like learning from the old generation and process into the new one. Something what you have Legend of Korra doing. It is a distant future, but they still use the reference of the old characters or the old path storyline from the Avatar: The Last Airbender. And, Korra, of course, take a spin to it because it's a new generation. It makes sense. But in here, it's still an old generation being investigated by the new generation. And it's the same thing with Boruto. He want to prove his dad wrong for something. I don't know. He hates him, or maybe really doesn't like him in a sense of like, maybe this is his way of loving. But then again, when you read this chapter, there's nothing like, hey, shitty old dad and stuff like that in here. It's more like, haha, look at this, that I could do this and that. It's like, damn, this kid. So that's it. But there's nothing like, oh, I hate you, father, screw you, and stuff like that. Most likely going to get that in the shooting exam, but what can you do? You gotta use something in order to make a story worth something. Even if it means killing the point of the older chapters. Point is, this is not a necessary. This is just an extra thing, and even if it's supposed to be crucial, which is not. It's just overall, it's average. It's subpar. It's not killing. It's not gonna kill you for reading this. It's not gonna make you suffer so much. But it is what it is. It's made for a Naruto fan. It doesn't do much for a Naruto fan, which is kind of funny. But it is targeting just Naruto fans. And if you enjoy it, then be my guest. But me, I did not enjoy it. It was rather laughable, forceful, and it just seems like we're supposed to have 10 chapters with this, so we're gonna get a conclusion, of course, unless they're using that for the movie with a giant to be continued at the very last page. But who knows? Other than that, it's what it is. Just don't take it too serious. They're trying to make it in this series. They make it into soap opera. They're making a heavy drama in this series. They take itself serious. But you shouldn't take it serious, because it only makes it very, very, very high comedy for you guys. So that's it for my thoughts on the chapter. I hope you enjoy my thoughts. kind of seemed rambling, but I'm not trying to be. Well, actually, I wasn't being much of a hater or anything like that. It's just the way I see it. I was hoping these new generation would have done something different or something that's a little bit unique in terms of like separated from the old generation to the new generation. But instead, it's more like these kids is gonna try to solve some problems with their parents, the old generation, and this is the case. So, it's not my take. And it's going to be disappointing, the fact that it's most likely going to just focus on Sparda and Boruto, and Boruto isn't that much interesting. He already has Shadow Clone. I'm expecting Rising Gun. Sparda seems like more of a father. She's more of a quest to find who's the mother. Not much to add on. Again, her character could have been interesting if this series wasn't a sequel or a spin-off, and rather is a very own series, and perhaps in a different universe, not even with Naruto universe as in ninja. Maybe it would have been interesting. It could be just entirely different storyline. Maybe Kishimoto should have saved these character models for another series rather than using on Naruto, no less. But then again, as many people say, maybe Sparda is doomed because female character cannot be highly developed or cannot be developed at all in this series, which mainly are true, and I hate to say that, but it seems to be the case. But what can you do? So yeah, thank you for enjoying here. We're gonna have more extras in the future. I do believe one of them will be the whole Tokyo Ghoul anime, and does it really, really, really suck, or you only saying it sucked because they didn't follow your adaptation? But stuff like that. So yeah, bottom line, Naruto is okay, average, actually just average. Okay is like I don't know, 6 out of 10. Average is 5 or below. Take your pick. So it's not gonna harm you. It's not worth to read unless you're a hardcore Naruto fan. Be my guest. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you my thoughts, and my thoughts is this is just whatever's, and yeah, that's about it. So yep, take care, and hopefully you don't exaggerate in your opinion thinking this is the worst thing in your entire life. But if it is truly the worst thing in your entire life, then okay, then it is for you guys. But yeah, seriously, check it if you want to. All right, I'm done here. Thank you for everything. See you next time. Take care, everyone.